Good day everyone, I am Janna Omnos from ES085-M8. So we were asked to make a menu-driven C program. We have to choose a topic and present solutions to problems. So I choose the topics trigonometry, geometry, algebra, statistics, and sequences. So first you have to put the hashtag include standard input or output. So this standard input or output, includes the standard library, which provides functions like printf to display the output on the screen and scanf to read the output from the user. And the next code is the hashtag include math.h. It is the mathematics library that includes mathematical functions, providing access to functions like sine, cosine, square root, and power or exponential function, that one. So the next one is the hashtag include standard library.h. So this standard library includes the standard general utilities library, which provides functions like exit and general utility functions. So although it's not strictly necessary for the functions used here, it is a common inclusion. So these lines tell the compiler that 5 functions are defined later and the code and what their names return types. So we have to put the void and our topics, which is the void trigonometry, geometry, algebra, statistics, and sequences. So this void geometry declares a function named trigonometry that takes no arguments and returns nothing. Same goes to the geometry, the algebra, statistics, and sequences. So the main function, this is the entry point of the entire program, the int main. So the int main starts the main function. The int means it will return an integer value, conventionally 0 for success. Then the int choice. There comes the int choice that declares an integer variable named choice to store the user's menu selection. Then the do. So this do starts a do while loop. The code block inside will execute at least once and continue running as long as the condition in the while statement is true. Then this printf. So this printf prints the main menu title of the screen, which new lines before and after for formatting. Then the printf1 trigonometry problems, the prints the main menu options for the user to see. Then until there is a print 1 to 6. This number 6 is the exit, prints the option to exit the program. And then the printf enter choice prompts the user to enter their selection. Then the scanf reads an integer value from the user's input and stores it in the choice variable. Then the this one is the address of operator. Then the next is this the switch choice. So this switch choice starts a switch statement which executes different blocks of code based on the value of choice. The case 1, the trigonometry. If choice is 1, it calls the trigonometry function and then uses break to exit the switch. Then for case 2, same logic for options 2, 3, 4, and 5, calling the respective functions. So for case 6, if choice is 6, it prints an exit message and breaks out of the switch. So for the default, if choice doesn't match any case, it prints an error message or the invalid choice message. Then this ends switch statement. Then the next one, while wait, kuwangan to dali. There. Okay. After that, while choice equals 6. Semicolon, then return 0. So this is the condition for the do while loop. The loop continues to repeat as long as the user's choice is not equals to 6. So for the return 0, it exits the main function and returns a value of 0 to the operating system, indicating successful execution. This ends the main function, this one. Then for the trigonometry function, the void trigonometry, open close parenthesis, gayon. The in sub. Okay, copy na lang ako. Dugay. So for this in sub, so first, the void trigonometry. So this starts the definition of the trigonometric function. So the in sub declares an integer variable sub for the submenu choice. For float val also declares a floating point variable val to store the angle input. Then this printf trigonometry prints the submenu header, and the printf1 and 2. The printf1 prints the submenu options. Then also this printf2. So after that, we have to code the printf enter choice. This printf enter choice prompts and reads the submenu choice into sub. Then the printf enter angle in degrees prompts and reads the angle from the user into value. So the conversion to radians, here, the C standard math functions, the sine and cosine, and it requires input in radians. So this line converts the user's input in degrees into radians by multiplying by pi over 180, where 3.14159 is an approximation of pi. Then if the choice is 1, it calculates the sine of the angle in radians using sine value and prints the result formatted to 2 decimal places. Then if the choice is 2, it calculates the cosine of the angle using cos val and prints the result. And if the choice is neither 1 nor 2, it prints an error or invalid sum option. And this one ends the trigonometry function. So next, algebra, void algebra. Geometry, I'm sorry, geometry, open close. Then for void geometry, this starts the definition of the geometric function. Then in sub, this in sub declares sub for the submenu choice. Then float val float s l and w. There. So this float s l and w declares floating points variables for s side, l length, and w for width. Then allow me to copy this one. There. So for printf geometry, the submenu header, then the printf1 area of square prints the submenu options, then the printf enter the choice prompts and reads the submenu choice. Then there starts the block for calculating the area of square, this if sub 1. Then enter side prompts and read the side length into s. Then area calculates and prints the area using the formula area equals side times side, or s times s. Then else if this sub 2 starts the block for calculating the area of a rectangle. Then enter length prompts and reads the length and the width. And for area, it calculates and prints the area using the formula length times width. Here, length times width. Dayon else prints an error for an invalid choice. Then ends the geometry function. Next one, void algebra. So for this void algebra, I'll just copy. For void algebra, this starts the definition of the algebra function. Then in sub declares sub for submenu choice. Then float a, b, c, d, x sub 1, x sub 2 declares variables for the coefficients a, b, c, discriminant d, and the two potential solutions x sub 1 and x sub 2. Print the submenu header, which is the algebra. Then prints the submenu options, the linear equation or quadratic equation. Then we print f the choice, prompts and reads the submenu choice. So this one, it starts the block for solving a linear equation, ax plus b equals 0. So for this, printf enter a, prompts and read coefficients a and b. So if a equals 0, checks if a equals 0. If a equals 0 and b is not equal to 0, there is no solution. Then if a is equal to 0 and also b is equal to 0, there are infinite solutions. But the code prints no solution. It is a simplification. So else print here else. Dayon, if a is not equal to 0, calculates and prints the solution x equals negative b over a. And else if, it starts the block for solving a quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c. Then it prompts and reads coefficients a, b, and c. Then calculates the discriminant d equals b squared equals minus 4ac. Then if d is greater than or equal to 0, it checks if the discriminant is a non-negative meaning or there are real roots. Then it calculates the first roots using the quadratic formula. Then second root, x sub 2, then it prints both real roots. Then If D is less than 0, it means there are no real roots, only complex roots. Then after that, it prints an error for an invalid choice, then it ends the algebra function. So void statics. For void statics, here we just copied the same thing here, the statics, then the choice, mean of two numbers or sum of two numbers. Then we declare the sub for the submenu choice, the float n1 and n2. The declares floating variable for two numbers, then the prompt and read submenu choices. Then if if the choice is 1, calculates and prints the mean average using the formula n sub 1 plus n sub 2 over 2. Then if choice is 2, calculates and prints the sum, prints an error for an invalid choice, then it ends the statistics function. Then else printf invalid sub option. Mani siya ang mag-end sa atoan sa statistics function. Then lastly, the sequences function. So for the void sequences, it starts the definition of the sequence function, then declares sub for the submenu choice, then declares the floating variable a1, b, and n, a1 for common difference ratio, a1 for the first term, then the common difference ratio d, and then the term position n, then the submenu header, the sequences, and the choices, the 1 and 2, the arithmetic for 1 and 2 for geometric. Dayon here, the submenu, dayon starts the block of arithmetic. So, it calculates and prints the nth term using formula a sub n equals a sub 1 plus parenthesis n equals minus 1 times d. Then here, prompts and reads the first term, common ratio represented by r is represented by d and term position. Then, prints an error for invalid choice and ends the sequences function. So that's it. If you have some questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I hope you learned a lot from this video. Thank you so much and have a good day. Bye.